Welcome to Emily U.S. English Podcast, the place where we learn, listen, and grow with English every single day. Here, English isn't just a subject you study. It's something you experience, something that becomes a part of your daily life. Each episode is a small step that brings you closer to understanding and speaking naturally, with confidence and ease. Today, we begin a special journey together. Improve your English, daily listening practice for natural and confident speaking. This isn't just another English lesson. It's a path that helps you reconnect with the language, understand how your brain learns, and discover simple ways to make progress every single day. Maybe you studied for years, but still feel nervous to speak. Maybe you listen to native speakers and realize you don't understand as much as you hoped. That's okay. You're not bad at English. You just haven't practiced it in the way your brain truly remembers and enjoys. Here, we'll focus on listening with meaning, learning with emotion, and building small habits that last. Because learning English is not about perfection. It's about progress. Every word you hear, every sentence you repeat is one more step forward. So, wherever you are right now, take a deep breath and just listen. Don't worry about mistakes. Don't rush. Let the language flow naturally. Every day, a little English can change the way you think, the way you speak, and the way you see the world. Let's begin this journey together. One voice, one story, one step at a time. You see, many people study English for years and still feel like they're not making real progress. They memorize hundreds of words, take grammar lessons, and watch videos, but when it comes to listening to a real conversation, everything seems to disappear. The words sound too fast, the accents are different, and the brain feels lost. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone, and it's completely normal. The truth is, your brain doesn't learn a language by memorizing rules. It learns by listening, by recognizing patterns, and by feeling the rhythm of speech over time. Think about how you learned your first language. You didn't study grammar books as a child. You listened for months and months before you said your first word. You listened to your parents, your friends, the sounds around you, and little by little, your brain started connecting those sounds with meaning. Learning English works the same way, but most of us were taught the opposite. We were told to speak before we had listened enough, to write before we had understood the sounds. That's why so many learners feel frustrated. It's not because they lack talent, it's because the process is upside down. When you start to listen daily, even for just 10 or 15 minutes, something changes. At first, it's hard. You might not understand anything, but your brain is working quietly in the background, recognizing patterns, training your ears, and adapting to new sounds. One day, you suddenly catch a word, then a phrase, then a full sentence. That moment when English stops being just noise and starts to make sense is the first spark of fluency. This is why daily listening matters so much. It's like watering a plant. You don't see the growth right away, but it's happening under the surface. Every day that you listen, you're helping your brain build tiny connections, and those connections turn into understanding, confidence, and eventually natural speaking. So, if you've ever listened to English and thought, this is too fast for me, or I'll never understand, remember this: it's okay. You're not supposed to understand everything at once. Your ears are learning, even when you don't notice. The only thing you need to do is keep showing up. Listen again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. Learning English is not a race, it's a rhythm. Some days you'll feel great, some days you'll feel stuck. But as long as you keep listening, you're moving forward. Consistency is more powerful than talent, and curiosity is stronger than fear. So let's begin this journey with the right mindset. Not to be perfect, but to be patient, to enjoy the sound of the language, to celebrate every small improvement, and to remember that every word you understand is proof that you're growing. English isn't something you conquer, it's something you grow into. And today, you've already taken the first step. Your brain is a fascinating machine. It doesn't just memorize words, it connects sounds, emotions, and meanings together. When you listen to English, your brain is not only hearing, it's predicting. It listens for patterns. It remembers how certain sounds connect, and it begins to expect what comes next. This is why children learn so quickly. They don't force themselves to translate, they just listen, feel, and respond. But when adults learn English, they often try to understand every word, every rule, every grammar point, and that creates stress. The brain becomes too busy trying to translate instead of listening naturally. That's why one of the best ways to improve your English is to relax while listening. Let your brain do what it's naturally good at, recognizing sounds and patterns through repetition. Listening first is not a shortcut, it's the original path. The more you listen, the more your brain learns to think in English. You start noticing that certain phrases always go together, like make a decision, take a break, on the other hand. You begin to feel how native speakers pause, rise, and fall in their tone. You start to understand emotion through sound, not just meaning through words. And something magical happens when you stop translating. You begin to feel connected to the language. You can laugh when you hear a joke, feel touched by a story, and even sense the mood of a speaker, all without needing to translate in your head. That's when English becomes alive. If you think about it, children spend years just listening before they ever go to school. They don't rush. They don't worry about mistakes. They simply absorb the sounds until speaking feels natural. So, why should learning English be any different? Listening builds the foundation, a strong one, for everything else. Once your brain feels comfortable with the rhythm of English, speaking becomes easier. You won't have to think so hard about grammar or word order. The right words will come naturally because your brain has already heard them thousands of times before. It's like music. The more you listen, the easier it is to sing along. So, if you want to speak confidently, start by listening deeply. Listen to different voices, accents, and emotions. Listen to podcasts, songs, and conversations. Don't just hear the words, feel them. Let them live in your mind. Because every sound you hear is one more seed of fluency planted inside you. Remember, your brain learns best when you enjoy what you're doing. So, make listening fun. Choose topics that inspire you, that make you smile or think or dream. When you listen with interest, your brain remembers naturally. That's not studying, that's living with English. And little by little, without even noticing, you'll start to understand more, respond faster, and speak smoother. That's the power of daily listening. It doesn't happen overnight, but it always happens.
Now that you understand how your brain learns through listening, let's talk about something even more important: building your daily English habit. Because no matter how many books you read or lessons you take, if you don't practice every day, your progress will fade. Language is alive, and to keep it alive inside you, you need to feed it a little bit each day. Think of English as a part of your lifestyle, not as homework. Just like brushing your teeth, drinking water, or checking your phone, make English something you do without pressure. You don't need hours, you only need consistency. Even 10 minutes a day can change everything if you do it every single day. Some people wait for the perfect time to study, maybe after work, after exams, or when they have more free time. But the truth is, that perfect time never comes. Life will always be busy. That's why the best learners don't wait for time. They make time. They listen while cooking, walking, commuting, or resting. They turn everyday moments into learning moments. Imagine listening to a short English podcast while you're brushing your teeth or washing dishes. It may seem small, but your brain doesn't care how long you study. It only cares how often you hear the sounds. Every repetition makes the language stronger in your memory. The key is to make your habit so easy that you can't skip it. Don't aim for perfection, aim for repetition. You can start small: one short podcast, one paragraph of a story, one English song a day. What matters most is that you show up. Once you make listening a part of your daily routine, fluency stops being a dream. It becomes a natural result. Habits are powerful because they remove the need for motivation. You don't need to feel inspired every day. You just follow your routine. Some days you'll feel full of energy. Other days you'll feel tired. But if you still listen, even a little, you're training your discipline. And discipline always beats motivation. Think of it like fitness. If you go to the gym once a week, you might not see results. But if you do 10 minutes every day, your body changes. The same is true for your mind. When you train your listening daily, your brain becomes sharper, quicker, more confident. You start to understand English without trying so hard. And here's the beautiful part. Once English becomes a part of your daily life, it stops feeling like a chore. It becomes something you want to do, not something you have to do. You'll find yourself enjoying English songs, laughing at English shows, or thinking in English without even noticing. That's when you know your habit has transformed you. So don't wait for the right moment to start. The right moment is always now. Open your ears, choose one simple thing to listen to, and make it part of your day. The first week will feel new. The second week will feel easier. By the third week, it will feel natural. And that's how change really happens: quietly, consistently, every day. But even with good habits, there will be days when you feel tired, when progress feels slow, or when you start to doubt yourself. And that's okay. Every learner goes through this stage. It's part of the process. You see, learning a language isn't just about your brain, it's also about your heart. Your emotions shape the way you learn more than you realize. If you feel nervous, your brain closes up. It stops absorbing new information. But when you feel curious, relaxed, and inspired, your brain opens. It listens, remembers, and connects ideas easily. That's why the way you feel while learning English matters just as much as what you study.
Many people think they're bad at English simply because they've failed tests or forgotten vocabulary. But those moments don't define you. They're just small parts of a much bigger story, your story of growth. The truth is, mistakes are proof that you're trying. Every error is a step toward understanding. When you change how you feel about mistakes, everything changes. Instead of thinking, I'm not good enough, try saying, I'm learning something new today. Instead of being afraid to speak, think, this is my chance to grow. The words you say to yourself create your reality. Confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from believing that you can keep learning no matter what happens. You don't have to be perfect to be proud of yourself. Every time you listen, speak, or think in English, you're already doing something brave. And here's something beautiful. When you connect emotion with learning, your memory becomes stronger. If a story makes you laugh, cry, or think deeply, you'll remember it much longer than a list of words. That's why emotional learning is so powerful. It touches both your heart and your mind. So don't just study English, feel it. Let it inspire you. Let it challenge you. Listen to stories that make you curious about the world. Watch movies that move you. Read quotes that remind you of your dreams. Because when English connects with your emotions, it stops being a subject. It becomes a part of your identity. And when you start believing in yourself, others will feel it too. Your voice will sound stronger, your words will flow more naturally, and your eyes will show confidence. You won't just be speaking English, you'll be expressing you. Progress may be slow, but slow is not bad. Slow means steady. Slow means real. Fluency doesn't arrive overnight. It grows quietly with every effort you make. So be patient with yourself. Celebrate small victories. Every time you understand a new phrase, pronounce a word better, or hold a short conversation, that's success. Your journey is unique. Don't compare it to anyone else's. Some people learn fast, others learn deeply. What matters is that you keep moving forward, one step, one word, one sound at a time. Remember, confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you create by showing up, by trying again, by believing that you can improve. And you can. You already are.
Now let's talk about speaking, the part that so many learners fear the most. You listen, you understand, but when it's time to speak, the words just disappear. Your mind goes blank. Your tongue feels heavy, and your confidence fades. But that's not because you don't know enough English. It's because your brain hasn't built the bridge between listening and speaking yet. Speaking naturally doesn't begin with words, it begins with sound, rhythm, and imitation. Just like music, every language has its own beat. English rises and falls like waves. When native speakers talk, they don't say every word clearly or perfectly. They connect sounds, reduce syllables, and use tone to express emotion. That's why even when you know all the words, English can still sound fast or confusing. So the secret to speaking naturally isn't to speak more slowly or perfectly, it's to listen closely and imitate the rhythm. Try shadowing. That means repeating what you hear immediately after the speaker, copying their tone, speed, and emotion.
Don't worry if you make mistakes. The goal isn't perfection, it's connection. You're training your mouth, your ears, and your memory to work together like a team. When you shadow, you're doing what children do instinctively. They copy sounds long before they fully understand them, and that's how fluency grows. It's not about memorizing sentences, it's about feeling how the language moves. You can start simple. Pick a short clip, maybe from your favorite podcast or YouTube channel. Listen once, then repeat what you hear. Try to match the rhythm, the melody, even the emotion. You'll notice that your pronunciation starts improving naturally without having to think about each word. And don't worry if your accent isn't perfect. Having an accent doesn't mean you're bad at English. It means you're bilingual. Your voice carries your identity, your story, your culture. The goal isn't to erase who you are, it's to make your message clear and your speech confident. Focus on speaking with feeling, not fear. When you speak with energy, when you care about what you're saying, people listen. Communication isn't just about words, it's about emotion. So speak like you mean it. Let your tone rise when you're excited, fall when you're thoughtful, and soften when you care. The more emotion you add, the more alive your English sounds. And here's something most learners forget. Speaking starts long before you open your mouth. When you listen actively, when you repeat phrases in your mind, when you whisper lines to yourself, that's speaking practice too. Every time you think in English, you're strengthening the path between your brain and your voice. So don't wait until you're ready to speak. Start now. Start small. Talk to yourself. Describe your day. Repeat your favorite quotes. Sing along to English songs. Read out loud. The more you use your voice, the more confident it becomes. And remember, your voice is powerful. Don't silence it with fear. Every time you speak, even if it's imperfect, you're proving to yourself that you can grow, that you're brave enough to express yourself in another language. That's something extraordinary. So speak with courage, speak with curiosity, and most of all, speak with joy. Because the more you speak, the more English becomes a part of you, not something you study, but something you live.
Once you begin speaking more often, something amazing starts to happen. Your brain begins to think in English. At first, it feels strange. You may still translate words from your native language in your head. You hear something in English, you quickly turn it into your language, and then you think of an answer. That's normal at the beginning, but translation is slow. It keeps you stuck between two worlds, your language and English. To become fluent, you need to live fully in one world at a time. Thinking in English doesn't mean forgetting your native language. It simply means building a new way of connecting ideas directly through English words, sounds, and feelings, without going through translation. It's like switching your brain into a new mode, and once it clicks, everything becomes smoother and faster. So, how do you train your mind to think in English? Start small. Begin with simple things around you. When you wake up, say to yourself, "It's morning. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm making coffee." Don't translate, just describe. When you walk outside, notice the world in English. The sky is clear. The air feels warm. I hear birds. You're not just practicing words, you're training your brain to link English directly to your senses. You can also practice by asking yourself small questions in English throughout the day.
What do I need to do next? How am I feeling right now? What do I want for lunch? These tiny questions help your brain stop depending on translation. They teach it to think in English naturally, like breathing. At first, it might feel slow, but after a few weeks of practice, you'll notice something amazing. English words will start appearing in your thoughts before your native ones. You'll hear a sound or see something, and the English word will just appear. That's the moment you stop studying English and start living it. And the more you listen, the more this process speeds up. Listening builds your inner voice. Every time you hear English stories, songs, or conversations, you're giving your brain the raw material it needs to think. That's why it's so important to surround yourself with English as much as possible, not just when you study, but all throughout the day. You can change the language on your phone, listen to English while doing chores, or follow creators who speak English naturally. The goal isn't to understand everything, it's to create an environment where English feels normal. Because when English becomes part of your daily world, your brain begins to operate in it without effort. Thinking in English also changes your confidence. When you stop translating, you respond faster. You stop overthinking your sentences. You sound more natural, more free. You're no longer chasing words, they start chasing you. So don't pressure yourself to think only in English right away. It's a gradual process, like learning to ride a bike. You'll wobble at first, you'll fall, but one day you'll realize you're doing it. You're thinking in English without even trying. And that's the moment fluency truly begins. Not when you know every word, but when English becomes your second voice. But as you continue on this journey, there will be times when motivation fades. Maybe you'll wake up one day and feel tired, too busy, or just not in the mood to study. Maybe you'll listen to an English video and feel like you're not improving at all. That's normal. Every learner faces moments like these. The secret is not to avoid them, but to understand them. Motivation is like a wave. It comes and goes. You can't control when it arrives, but you can control what you do when it's not there. That's where discipline and love for the language come in. Discipline keeps you going when your energy is low, and love reminds you why you started in the first place. So when you lose motivation, don't be hard on yourself. Instead, reconnect with your why. Why do you want to speak English? Maybe it's to travel, to connect with people, to grow your career, or to simply feel confident in yourself. Whatever your reason, remind yourself of it often. Write it down, say it out loud. Let it guide you like a small light when things feel dark. Also, change the way you see bad days. If one day you don't feel like studying, that's okay. Maybe you just need to rest. Take a break. Listen to music in English, watch something funny, or simply relax. Learning isn't about forcing yourself. It's about staying connected. As long as you don't give up completely, you're still on the path. When boredom appears, try something new. Don't stay stuck with the same routine forever. Change your listening sources, explore new accents, watch interviews, listen to audiobooks, or talk with people online. English is a living language. It grows with you. Let your curiosity guide your learning. And here's a secret that few people talk about. You don't have to feel motivated every day to make progress. What truly matters is consistency.
Even when you feel tired or unmotivated, do something small. Listen for 5 minutes. Read one paragraph. Repeat one sentence. Small actions are like drops of water. They don't seem like much, but over time, they can fill an ocean. Think of your journey like climbing a mountain. Sometimes you'll move fast, sometimes slow. Sometimes you'll rest. But every step, no matter how small, takes you higher. And when you look back one day, you'll realize how far you've come. Not because of one big leap, but because of 1,000 tiny steps. So when you feel stuck, don't say, I'm failing. Say, I'm learning. When you feel slow, don't say, I'm behind. Say, I'm steady. Your progress might be invisible now, but it's happening inside your brain, in your habits, and in your heart. Learning English isn't just about speaking another language. It's about becoming a more open, confident, and curious version of yourself. And that transformation takes time. The people who reach fluency are not the smartest. They are the ones who keep going, gently, quietly, every day. So trust yourself. Trust the process. Even if progress feels small today, it's still progress. Keep showing up. Keep listening. Keep believing. Because one day you'll wake up, start speaking, and realize this is it. You've become fluent, naturally, beautifully, through patience and persistence. And when that moment comes, something inside you changes forever. Because English isn't just a skill, it's a doorway. It opens you to the world in ways you never imagined before. Suddenly, you can understand movies without subtitles. You can read books and articles written by people from different cultures. You can listen to ideas that were once hidden behind language barriers. It's like unlocking a new level of life. English gives you access to stories, to opportunities, to people. You can talk to someone from the other side of the world and realize how much you actually share. You can travel not as a tourist, but as a global citizen, connecting, laughing, and learning wherever you go. It makes the world feel smaller and your heart feel bigger. But it's not just about travel or communication, it's about confidence. When you start expressing yourself in another language, you discover new sides of who you are. You find your courage, your curiosity, your creativity. You realize that you're capable of much more than you thought. You see, learning English changes more than your words. It changes your mind. It opens you to new perspectives, new ways of thinking. It teaches patience, humility, and resilience. Every time you listen to something difficult and keep going, you're not just improving your English, you're training your character. And this confidence doesn't stay in the classroom. It follows you everywhere. Suddenly, you start believing that if you can learn English, you can learn anything. You can face challenges, meet new people, explore new ideas, and step into places that once scared you. That's the real gift of English. It gives you freedom. Freedom to express yourself. Freedom to connect. Freedom to grow. And maybe one day, someone will ask you, how did you learn to speak English so well? And you'll smile because you'll know the answer isn't just about lessons or books. It's about consistency.
It's about heart. It's about believing in yourself even when no one else did. English becomes more than a language. It becomes a part of your story, the story of how you grew, how you overcame fear, and how you found your voice. So remember this. Every time you press play on a podcast, every time you listen, repeat, or whisper an English phrase to yourself, you're not just learning, you're building your future. And the world is waiting for your voice. And as you keep growing with English, you'll start to notice how much your world expands. You'll find yourself understanding not just the language, but the culture, the humor, the emotion behind every word. You'll start thinking differently, more openly, more globally. You'll begin to see that English isn't about rules or tests. It's about connection. It's about being able to understand another person's heart, even if they come from a completely different world. Every new word you learn is like a new window opening. You can see more of the world, you can feel more, you can express more. And soon, you realize that learning English isn't just about getting better at speaking, it's about becoming more human, more understanding, more connected. There will still be moments of doubt, times when you feel lost, or days when your motivation fades. But deep inside, you'll know this: you've come too far to stop now. Every challenge you face in English is a sign that you're growing stronger. Every time you don't give up, your mind adapts, your ear sharpens, and your confidence grows quietly beneath the surface. And maybe one day you'll meet someone who's just starting their journey, nervous, uncertain, exactly like you once were. You'll see the fear in their eyes, the hesitation in their voice, and you'll smile because you'll know how it feels. You'll know how far practice, patience, and hope can take a person. And in that moment, you'll become their inspiration. You'll be the voice that tells them, "You can do this. I've been where you are." That's how learning spreads, not just through lessons, but through kindness, through the simple act of sharing what you've learned, of helping someone else believe that they can too. So keep listening, keep speaking, keep learning not for perfection, but for connection. Let English continue to shape you, to challenge you, to surprise you. Let it be the bridge between who you are now and who you're becoming, because somewhere, right now, another person is starting their first lesson, listening to their first English word, and one day, your journey might inspire theirs. And this is how it continues: one learner, one story, one voice at a time. And as the days go by, you'll start to realize that English has quietly become a part of your daily life. It's in the music you listen to, the videos you watch, the thoughts that cross your mind. Sometimes you'll catch yourself thinking in English without even trying. Sometimes you'll dream in it. And that's when you'll know it's no longer something you study. It's something you live. You'll notice small moments that feel magical, like understanding a joke in a movie before the subtitles appear, or replying in English without translating in your head, or hearing your own voice sound more natural, more confident, more you. These are the moments that remind you how far you've come. They don't happen all at once. They appear quietly, almost invisibly, but they change
everything. And the best part? You'll start to feel at home in a language that once felt foreign. You'll begin to enjoy the sound of it, the rhythm, the beauty hidden in its simplicity. You'll start to love English not because you have to learn it, but because it gives you something priceless: the ability to connect, to understand, to share your world with others. Some days will still be tough. You'll still stumble on new words, misunderstand accents, or forget grammar rules. But instead of feeling frustrated, you'll smile. Because now you understand that's part of the process. That's how every language grows inside you, not by perfection, but by persistence. You'll stop judging yourself and start trusting your progress. You'll learn to enjoy the silence between words, the pauses that give meaning. You'll listen deeply, not just to the sounds, but to the emotions behind them. You'll realize that language is not only about speaking, it's about feeling, about truly connecting to another human being, no matter where they're from. And over time, English will become more than a tool. It will become your mirror, reflecting your growth, your patience, your courage. It will show you how capable you are when you stay consistent, how strong you are when you keep believing. Every word you speak will carry a story, your story, of effort, of hope, of transformation. You'll look back one day and think, it all started with a small step. Just one day, one lesson, one word. And that single step changed everything. Because learning English isn't really about English. It's about who you become along the way.
So keep going. Keep learning, even when it's hard. Keep listening, even when you don't understand every word. Because every time you try, you're getting better, even if you don't see it yet. Progress doesn't always make noise. Sometimes it's quiet, invisible, growing slowly beneath the surface. But one day it blooms, and you'll see just how strong you've become. Every word you learn is an act of courage. Every sentence you speak is proof that you're not afraid to make mistakes. And every mistake you make is a step forward, not backward. That's how real learning happens, not by avoiding errors, but by embracing them, by laughing at them, and by learning through them. You're not just studying English. You're building a new version of yourself, one that's more open, more confident, more connected. You're teaching your brain patience, your heart resilience, and your soul the art of never giving up. And even on the days when you feel tired, remember, your future self is waiting. The version of you who speaks naturally, who listens effortlessly, who feels proud. That person is already on their way. Every time you practice, you're walking toward them, step by step, word by word, day by day. It doesn't matter how slow you go, as long as you don't stop. It doesn't matter if others learn faster or speak better. What matters is that you show up for yourself, for your dreams, for the future you want to live in. Because learning English is not a race. It's a journey, your journey. And the world needs your voice, not a perfect one, just a real one. A voice that carries your thoughts, your emotions, your truth. So don't wait until you feel ready. Speak now. Practice now. Start where you are, with what you have, and keep moving forward. Because every time you choose to listen, to learn, to speak, you're proving something powerful. You are growing. You are becoming. You are unstoppable. And as we come to the end of this journey together, take a deep breath and smile. Because everything you've done, every word you've listened to, every sentence you've practiced, every moment you refuse to give up, it all matters. You've already become so much more than you were when you started. Learning English isn't a straight road. It's a winding path filled with little victories, quiet progress, and unexpected joy. And that's the beauty of it. You grow not only in language, but in life. You learn patience. You learn persistence. You learn how to keep going, even when things feel uncertain. So don't rush. Don't compare. Don't doubt. The person you're becoming is shaped by every small effort you make today. Keep your heart open, your mind curious, and your spirit strong. Because the truth is, you're not just learning English, you're building a bridge to the world. Let this language be your passport to friendships, to ideas, to dreams that once felt far away. Let it remind you that you belong anywhere your voice can reach, and it can reach farther than you think. So wherever you are right now, whisper this to yourself. I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm getting closer. And remember, you never walk this path alone. Every learner around the world is walking beside you, one word at a time. Together, we are all finding our voices, and through English, we are finding each other. Thank you for listening, for showing up, for believing in yourself. Keep your heart brave, your ears open, and your words alive, because your English journey is just beginning.